Hello, everyone. We are broadcasting from the heart of the South, the buckle of the Bible Belt, the center of the civil rights movement, from the sweet, sweet sounds of Muscle Shoals all the way down to the sugar white sand beaches of Gulf Shores. Won't you join us here in the state of Alabama? I am your host, Daniel Robertson, and you are listening to the Dirty South Gospel Hour. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining me today for another fun-filled episode of the Dirty South Gospel Hour. Well, it's 2018. It's February 1st. It's basically the beginning of the year. I hope you made it through Christmas and the holidays, and I hope you're doing well and are in good spirits. Today's show is a little different. We don't have one set topic per se, but we're going to talk about some important things. We're going to talk about death. We're going to talk about life. We're going to talk about rebirth. We're going to talk about new beginnings because it's a new year and we're starting this year fresh. This is a new season of the Dirty South Gospel Hour. We are so happy that you decided to join us. And actually, I want to start the show with a little story. It deals with my grandmother, my beautiful grandmother. God bless her soul. God rest her soul. Marilyn Robertson, beautiful woman, lovely person, only had the best things to say about everybody, never said a mean word. She's gone. She's not here anymore. She left us and she shook off this mortal coil and she is in heaven. And, you know, that's, it's hard to deal with when you lose a loved one, but it's good to know that they're not in pain and they are in the loving arms of Christ. So, I really want to tell you this story. It's kind of crazy. We were at the hospital. We were saying goodbye to her as she was slipping away. And, you know, it was one of those late nights. You had to go get something to eat. Everybody's hungry. You've been at the hospital all day. We went to get a burrito, and man, did some craziness ensue. So when you're laying your grandmother to rest, you don't really want to have to deal with stuff like this, but it makes for an interesting story. So let's get into it. Okay, we're back. It's the Dirty South Gospel Hour. We're keeping it high and tight today. We've been doing a lot of working with audio gear today. I'm sitting at Noah's house. Noah just brought me an ice cold PBR. I'm going to pop that open there. What's up, Noah?
Oh, not much. Frustrating.
Yeah.
Frustrating beginning to a conversation.
What you guys don't know is we just spent the last, what was it?
Hour and a half, maybe?
Hour and a half. We just spent the last hour and a half wrestling with a multi-tentacle demon of microphone cables, HDMI cords, USB ports, USB power boxes that are a multi-tap plug. Like, I mean, we got wrapped up in a wad of cables that you will never be able to fathom. But we persevered, and now we've got the old school microphone here. Give it a little jerk, kind of hanging through the boom stand. We got a really nice mic stand, really shitty microphone. But we're going to work on that in the future. There will be better audio quality for you to appreciate. And we do appreciate you listening to the podcast. It's cold outside and in Alabama. Believe it or not, the whole state is on lockdown, for the last 2 days?
2 days until Thursday, 9 a.m. Hard freeze.
Yeah, and like, if you've listened before, you heard me and Noah both talk about where we work, and his place of business was shut down for 2 days. Shut down. My place of business shut down for a day and a half. And to be honest with you, the roads didn't seem that icy, but there were probably bridges and overpasses that were a disaster. And down here in the dirty South, we are not prepared for that. We're not prepared. We don't have the sand and the salt.
They did that. They sanded the overpasses, and that was about it.
Yeah. And so the weather's freezing cold. Everybody's indoors. And we just made it through the holidays. And God bless it. Like, the holidays can really do a number on you. And I got through it all, you know, and it was good. The kids were happy, like presents and Christmas and Santa Claus, and it was all good. And then my grandma died, and that was a bummer. She was in her mid to late 80s. She was a beautiful soul, a good woman. Marilyn Robertson, rest in peace. But we had to lay her to rest. And so, like I was telling Noah earlier, I had this little story I wanted to tell. My grandmother dies. And it's a 2 or 3 day process because she went to the hospital with pneumonia, and then, you know, organs started like slowly shutting down because she was old. She had fought cancer a couple of times. It was just, you know, and in a lot of ways, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, if you die in your late 80s surrounded by your loved ones at a hospital, can we be honest? Like, isn't that about as good as it can get?
Yeah.
Like, people were sad, and I was sad too. Don't get me wrong, I cried. But, like I say, if you make it to your late 80s and you're surrounded by many grandchildren and great-grandchildren and family, and I mean, that's as good as it can be.
Yeah.
Basically.
Oh, dying alone is sad.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, and burning to death is painful. So
yes, or being decapitated by an 18-wheeler.
Yeah, experiencing a lot of fear at the end.
Tons of fear, yes. My uncle asked her when she was dying in the hospital room, he said, "Mom, are you in pain?" And she said no, because, you know, they had given her medicine and whatever. And he said, "Mom, are you afraid? Are you scared?" And she said no. And she just felt peaceful, you know, and she crossed over in a peaceful way. And so it was beautiful. I took my 2 little children and my teenage daughter, all 3 of my kids, went in there, and we actually said goodbye to her, like, right after she had passed. Like, and I was kind of like torn as to if I should do that, you know, because little kids could get traumatized and whatever. But all my family was going in there, and she had literally just died. So it kind of felt natural. It felt right. So we go in there. I held my son, I'm holding my daughter, walk over there, and like I sit down in this chair by her, like her body. She's gone. And I actually placed my hand on her hand because some of my relatives were like full on hugging her and crying, you know, like her own children. That's my grandma. It's not my mom.
Yeah.
Her own children were like boo-hooing, and God bless them. I get it. I mean, I was really sad too, but I put my hand on her hand. I said a quick prayer. And I told Ivan, you know, I was like, Grand's in heaven now, you know, like she's going to see my grandpa. Like she's going to, you know, be with him again, you know. And, you know, said what you can say, you know, and that's all I said. Now, we're downtown, UAB. If you don't know much about Birmingham, Alabama, we are a medical city. Like, we don't have a lot of industry, but what we do have is a pretty well-established hospital that does, like, clinical trials. Actually, they're doing one right now, clinical trials on psilocybin mushrooms for like PTSD, which hopefully we're going to have an episode on that in the near future. So keep your ears tuned, and that's going to be a good one. But anyways, like I said, we're at UAB, we're at the hospital, and my grandmother just died, and everybody said bye, and everybody cried, and it was so sad and everything. And then my dad and my mom and all of my family and everybody were all there. And my sister's there, but her little daughter and her husband were at home because they had been there, and, you know, she's a baby. You don't need the baby all the time. And somebody's like, "Hey, let's go get burritos." We're all starving. Like, we hadn't ate all day. And, you know, and there's Moe's is on the 4th Avenue parking deck at the bottom. There's a Moe's burrito place. And we're like, "Yeah, let's go get a burrito." We go down there to get a burrito. We go inside. We're sitting there. You know, it's half full. The restaurant is half full, but not too full. But there's a lot of people in there. And we're eating and we're hanging out and we're talking. And everybody's really sad. But they're, you know, we're with family. And we also were kind of happy because, like I said, we had let her go in a peaceful way. So we kind of had this sense of, like, goodness with it. You know what I mean?
Better. And the fear that people, the sadness is facing your own mortality and thinking about your own death while you eat a burrito.
Exactly.
Gran's in a great place.
Exactly. You're the
Psychologically, everyone's in a really bad place.
Yeah. But somehow, we got through it, whatever. Well, we're sitting there, we're all eating, and we're like right in front of the main entrance to this restaurant. It's downtown Birmingham. It's late at night. This crazy dude comes storming in the restaurant, waving his arms around. His eyes, like his right eye is pointed up, his left eye is pointed down. He's drooling from the mouth. Like what little bit of hair he has on his head is like stuck out to the side. He's like, he's like ranting and raving. And I'm sitting there and like we try to like keep your head down, finish your burrito, and act like nothing's going on. I mean, literally, everybody in the restaurant tried to do that, right? And we're like, I look back, my mom had seen him because she was sitting on the other side of the table, and I saw her eyes get really big, and she said to me, that guy doesn't look good. He looks crazy. I turned around, and what I saw confirmed what she had said. He looked fucking insane, and it was like pretty troublesome because all of a sudden he starts screaming about he's in the CIA. He used to be in the FBI. He was obviously homeless and either on drugs or schizophrenic. There was a woman that worked at UAB Hospital in the psych ward that said she knew him. She knew who he was. Like, but we didn't find this out until after the fact, right? So he starts screaming about something about African Americans and the CIA and this and that. And the whole time he's taking his right hand and it keeps going into his coat. It keeps going into his jacket pocket. He's digging in his pocket. And it just looks like he's about to pull a gun or a knife out and blow everybody away. The manager of Moe's, this young woman, because everybody that worked at this fucking burrito place, by the way, was just a bunch of females left to their own devices. There was nobody there. It's late at night. Like, it's just a bunch of, nice young women working at this restaurant, and the manager comes running over and she's like, "Sir, will you please leave? You're troubling my customers," or something. She tries to like handle the situation. He like looks at her like he's summoning every demon from like the 7 circles of hell, and he's like, "Fuck you!" And he extends his hand like he's Hadouken Street Fighter, he's pointing at her like he's cursing her, and then all the little Moe's employees girls go, "Ah!" and they like scream and they run back to the kitchen, leaving us customers out there with him, right?
Time to fight.
And he's roaming around looking crazy-eyed, and I have been in some high-pressure robbery situations before and stuff, and I have had a gun pulled on me and put to the back of my head before. Like, I went into PTSD land. I was, like, looking around. I was, like, getting ready. Like, what's about to happen?
Smash this guy with
What
a chair.
do I do? And, I wasn't sure what I was going to do just yet. I didn't know what to do just yet. And I think I made the right decision, and here's how it all went down.
You went to the bathroom.
Yeah, I left my family and ran to the bathroom and cried like a little girl. And I'll drink to that. But what really happened was I got up, I got my trash on my table, and he's ranting and screaming and digging in his pocket, and it's getting weird. Maya, my 8-year-old little girl, is crying, Noah. She's terrified. He's scaring her. He's like, "I'll kill all of you. No one will understand. You don't know I used to work for the CIA, and you will pay, every one of you." He's like, he's making threats and digging in his pocket, and people are scattering and running. So I get up and I start putting trash on. I said, y'all want to dip? Everybody want to leave? Y'all want to go? And my mom and everybody's like, "What are we? Oh yeah, let's go. So everybody's like, we're getting trash up on the thing, I walk over there, dump my trash off my tray into the garbage can, all that shit. And he runs back outside of the Moe's and he starts digging in the bushes out front, which is like concerning. Like, what the hell is this guy doing? And in that moment, I saw an opportunity to take control of the situation. I will say this, in defense of the Second Amendment, my God, in that moment, you want to have a gun on you. Like, because you always think about when you have a gun on you, you imagine that the criminal is going to be this genius, No, a lot of times it's a psycho who's frothing at the mouth and isn't even thinking straight.
Eat your face on bath salts.
Exactly. So a gun can help you in those situations. Like, a gun can't always help you. If I had pulled a gun on the guy that was holding a gun on me, he might have blown my brains out. But in that moment, I was just standing there thinking, why don't, if you had a weapon, you're at least protected and ready. And so he runs outside. The second he runs outside, I jump up and run to the door. And my wife and my sister and my daughter, everybody thought I was going to fight him or something because they were like, Dan, no, don't do it, no.
You locked the door.
Yeah.
Finished your meal.
You're fucking right, I locked the door. I ran to the door and I locked it. I ran to the other door and I locked that one. I start barking orders at everyone in the fucking restaurant. I'm like, you call the cops. You call the cops. I'm like, somebody call the 5-0 right now. I'm like, you. And I'm like, are you the manager? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, does that door lock from the inside? She's like, yeah. And he's on the outside jerking on the doors with every fiber of his being, screaming and cussing like, and then he grabs this styrofoam cup and does a wind up like he thinks it's like a cinder block and he's going to hurl it through the glass, but it's styrofoam. So he's like, wee! And he like throws it and it just like, woo, like flies through the air and doesn't do anything. But I promise you, in the moment, it was very concerning because you've got a guy going, I swear, I will kill every one of you. You will never. And I mean, you're just like, what the fuck? And so we got the doors locked. My sister called the police. Anyways, bottom line is the police showed up and arrested the dude. They had already handled this guy like 1,000 times before.
Yeah. Just homeless guy.
Homeless guy walking around the city of Birmingham threatening people, whatever. But dude, when your grandmother dies and your children watch that's their great-grandmother, and they watch her and they say goodbye to her and they're tormented and terrified, and then you take them downstairs to get a burrito and they think they're gonna die? You locked that memory into your kid's brain. Because Maya will never forget the day that Grand died. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was some next level shit. Like, you can't forget it. Like, not only did you watch someone die, but you walked downstairs and you should have seen Maya. You know her. She was all teary-eyed and terrified.
Yeah, she was like, this is a teachable moment of, see how heaven is better than earth?
Yeah.
Grand's in a way better place. Like, the Moe's is fucking hell.
Yeah, that is how it is. And that's how it went. And it was fucking crazy. And then, we all left. We gathered up our things and drove back home and we couldn't believe it. But it was all good. But locking the door was the right move. I'm telling you, dude, it was like super quick. He was so pissed when he came back. He jerked him. He was like, no! he was kind of funny after that.
Yeah, but the last thing you want to do is get wrapped up in like roughing up a homeless guy. I mean, just hepatitis flying all over your family. Like, just
yes, dude,
knocking his teeth out. Be bad.
Yeah. And so, Grand passed away. Then we had the funeral. My family was all there. And, it was good to see the family. But, man, funerals are sad. And
they're heavy. We buried my grandma not 2 years ago. And my granddad. I mean,
yeah. Your granddad just passed away not too long ago.
I mean, within a year of each other. And, yeah, it is really sad. And
he had Alzheimer's, right? Or dementia?
Yeah, dementia, yeah.
How long did he battle that in the end?
Really bad for the last, probably the final about 3 years. It happened. It happened quick. I mean, he was 92, 93. He was old. He was old.
That's some good genetics you got there, man.
Yeah, it was weird. He was having like strokes and like not even knowing.
Pushing through. Yeah.
Like no one, like they did like checked it like an MRI or whatever. Yeah. And he had a heart attack and he didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
And it's like, good God, man.
A lot of people persevere through some stuff that they don't really even know about because they didn't get the tests or whatever. But he was strong. Like, you can say what you want about him, like, mentally.
Frail old man, but
strong. Strong in the sense that to make it to your 90s, you got to be strong.
I saw a video last night of Randy Travis.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like super drunk, running around naked.
No, what?
And they arrested him. This was years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years. I may be off on that, but he's a real bad alcoholic. And but they got him, arrested him. And he's ranting in the cop car. And all this, and I had the tape, and he's talking about how big his dick is and stuff. but anyways, he's 48, 46, 48. He had a stroke, and he is like bound to a wheelchair, and he can't even see, can hardly speak, can barely say any words. I mean, he's a tall, young, strong, like strong
Hold the
Hollywood
fuck
type,
up.
lots of
Randy
money,
Travis?
had a major stroke.
Is that who I'm thinking? Am I thinking of the right guy?
Yeah, I'd sing you a few bars, but I don't know any of his songs. My brother was over, and we were just listening to country music, and we just started laughing and talking about that. Yeah, hey, you'll recognize his mugshot. He sings, yeah, forever and ever, amen.
No!
Yeah, man, he can barely speak. See, like all these mugshots of him. He gets drunk and like gets his ass whooped, gets in fights. But they have him in a cop car, and he's saying some really, really crazy stuff. And he's like, everybody starts talking about being like closer to God than the cop. And then he goes, "I'm gonna pray for something." And I swear, he like closes his eyes and like starts praying that the cop gets some type of growth on his head. I think. And the cops laughing.
Wow, dude. Randy Travis, why did you do it, bro?
Maybe, yeah, hey, all you need is audio. Maybe if you don't see it, maybe you can plug in some audio from that tape because it is fucking funny.
Oh no, we'll go to that right now.
Mr. Travis, can you tell me what happened in the crash?
I don't know. I don't give a rat's ass. My wife-to-be has this argumentative way, so, I grew up in I grew up in a place where my dad was such a man who told me to stop an Angus from breaking out of a goddamn herd of cows. So I ran after him. He stops me. And so therefore he whips me with a goddamn pair of reins and tells me to get him. I said, what the hell do I do? Walk? That's what I grew up in. So you think that you goddamn got the right to do me this way? Motherfucker, no you don't. Oh hell no you don't. You'll die, motherfucker.
Mr. Travis, what did I do to you?
You put these goddamn handcuffs on me. If you'd have told me get in this car and you wouldn't have put these goddamn handcuffs on me, no, I'd have prayed for you to have help for this. But you know something? I've seen miracles happen through prayer. I'll pray for you to have the biggest growth on your head that will make you so goddamn... watch this, motherfucker. Watch this.
Okay.
You insult me, man. You insult me. You goddamn insulted me.
How did I insult you, Mr. Travis?
You insulted me by locking me up in a goddamn cage, basically, with handcuffs behind me with my dick hanging out. Now, and I'm proud of my dick. It's bigger than most, but
okay.
You insulted me.
Well, as you could hear, that was a low point in Randy Travis's life. And we're not playing that clip to make fun of him. And we're not playing that clip to make light of a serious situation. As a matter of fact, our hearts and our minds are with Randy Travis and his wife and his family. And he's in our prayers right now. Because let me tell you something. The drunkenness that you just witnessed, that's something that Randy Travis is not the only person who struggles with that. Lots of people do. And when I say that this podcast today is about new beginnings, because it's a new year, it's 2018, I'm sure Randy Travis would want to encourage people not to overindulge in alcohol, not to end up getting arrested naked on the side of the road. But life is tough. And even if you're a wealthy, famous country music star, sometimes you wrestle demons that get the best of you. So although it can be funny to hear the craziness that can happen when people have a few too many drinks, it is a serious topic. And I think the lesson that we can take from this is limit your alcohol consumption. this year, look, hey, we even have drinks from time to time on the podcast, okay? But we're trying to keep it between the navigational beacons. We're trying to keep it reasonable, and we're trying to keep it clean. So let's start this new year off right. Also, in regards to my grandmother, Marilyn Robertson, Gran. I know that this podcast is a little crazy and eclectic, and it's not necessarily what you would expect, but I kind of want to memorialize her right now. I want to thank God in your presence for my grandmother. I want to thank God that without her, I would have never been, and I am grateful for the life that I've been given. I want to pray for her right now as she is making her journey through the heavenly realms, through the cyberspace of angelic harmonic reality. I want to pray that she is enjoying her time being reunited with her husband, my grandfather, who I never got to meet, but I am named after. So I hope her and Daniel are doing well. And I think what's important to remember is spend time with your family while they're alive. I have regrets about that. Now, thank God, I did get to go have dinner with her and take my kids and, my sister and my wife and my children and my parents even. We all hung out with her a couple of times in the last few months before she left. And I'm grateful for that time that we got to spend together, but it was not enough. And here today on February 1st, 2018, I'm a little sad that I didn't get to hang out with Gran more often. And I can only blame myself for that. But I'm not going to dwell on that, and I'm not going to waller in the sadness. I am going to do what I know Gran would want me to do, and that is prioritize my family, prioritize my wife, my children, my parents, reunite with loved ones, and just do what is right. So when you think about new beginnings, when you think about death and endings, these are the moments in life when you really question your decisions and you look at what you chose and you know what you chose. So, Gran, I love you. God bless you. I hope you're doing well. I'll see you one day. And until that day comes, rest in peace. I love you. Well, that's it for today's episode. It was a short one. There wasn't a lot of preaching, there wasn't a lot of scripture, but still, I hope there was some encouragement. And like I said earlier, today's episode is about new beginnings. It's about rebirth. It's about life. It's about death. And it's about the endless circle that binds all of us together. So, like I said earlier, I want to send prayers out to Randy Travis. I want to send prayers out to his wife and his family. And I want to send prayers out to my family, my grandmother who is in heaven. Gran, I love you. I hope you're looking down on me, and I hope that I can make you proud. And I also want to send prayers and encouragement to you, the listener. It's a new year. It's 2018. Get out there and make life happen. Work hard, play hard, make friends, make love, make time for family. Do what you need to do. Do what is right, and do it in the name of Jesus. We're going to end the show today with an original song called What's the Deal? And this song kind of deals with the topics that we've talked about today. It kind of touches on the subject of what happens when you lose someone for the rest of your life. What happens when you have to spend all of your life without them? What's the deal with that? What's the deal with life in general? That's what this song is about. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you've enjoyed the episode today, and I hope you will join us next time on the Dirty South Gospel Hour. What's the deal? What's been going on? I can't shake it all. It's weighing heavy on me. Is it real? Or is it all a dream? I can't wake up. Oh, it's weighing heavy on Lost in time over you. Body cannot say in my mind, all brand new. Any other way, all my life without you. Body cannot say in my mind, all brand new. Body cannot say what's the deal. It's been going down. I can take it all. It's weighing heavy on me. Is it real? Is it all a dream? I can't take it all. It's weighing heavy on me. Yeah, lost in time over you. My body cannot say in my mind, all brand new. Any other way, all my life without you. My body cannot say in my mind, all brand new. Body cannot say what's the deal. It's been going down. I can't shake it all. It's weighing heavy on me. Is it real? Or is it all a dream? I can't take it all. It's weighing heavy on me. Yeah, heavy on me. Heavy on me. Lost in time over you. My body cannot say in my mind, all brand new. Any other way, all my life without you. My body cannot say in my mind, all brand new. My body cannot say. Really? Yes. And which made me feel good to hear that, because I have my thighs have always been like, and honestly you do too. You have large legs, like the thing is this. I know some dudes that have like skinny little bird legs,
Yeah,
like
they do.
tiny, like your calves are pretty big, kind of like mine. Like I'm saying this. They were saying that the stronger your legs are, it comes down to basic physics. The more likely you are to keep walking. And that an object
that
in
makes
motion
sense.
stays in motion. So the concept is, if you keep moving, you stay alive. It's people that get sedentary and stove up that don't stay alive, and that you're, and that made me feel good because I was like, hey, I got big legs. Okay, I like that. Whatever, but
Yeah, I mean, I know it's not everyone's favorite job, the kind of work we do, but I think these people that sit, behind desk all day crunching numbers and how blood clots are a real thing, and they sell those stand-up desk.
Yeah. And you're over there like on a treadmill typing on
stepper, yeah.
You're like on an elliptical doing Microsoft Excel.
Wiping the sweat off your brow with a tie.
You're taking your business suit and you made like a burqa out of it because you're so sweaty. That doesn't even make any sense.
Like a $300 Under Armour suit.
Exactly. You've got like spandex polyester Under Armour 3-piece suit. You're like the office of the future. The office of the future. They're like just running on set.
Looks super gay. Everyone's wearing lycra.
Yeah.
Smells like a gym. Stinks.
Smells like hot yoga. But yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest, I kind of feel crazy